I want to play in the NFL, it's like a dream come true. I'm just so close to achieving that goal, I'm not going to let anything come in between that. Nobody really knows, how much hard work goes into it each and every day. It's just everything that it takes to be a professional athlete.
He's proven how tough he can be, how dedicated he can be. The only thing that can stop Michael is for Michael.
Hello. Welcome to another awesome week in the world of fishduck.com. I'm Kurt. Each week I'll be updating you on everything taking place in Oregon sports and fishduck.com. So let's get started. First, on Friday, a public records request in the early drafts of the NCAA findings of their investigation became public. What needs to be stressed is that these are early drafts. The investigation into possible rules violations continues, and the University of Oregon is cooperating fully with the NCAA. Some people may overreact or draw conclusions from these early drafts, but at this point, they really don't mean anything until the final reports are released. So anything that people are saying is pure speculation. What came of these document dumps was that the university and the NCAA are in agreement that there was a failure to properly monitor. That's a big difference from lack of institutional control, and do not get the two of them mixed up.
Oregon football program admitting to NCAA violations today as part of documents released by the university. In a statement of proposed findings of violations submitted by the NCAA to the athletic department, the Ducks acknowledged the use of 3 scouting services that violated NCAA rules. As part of this report includes the following language. Both parties, quote, agreed from 2008 through 2011, the scope and nature of the violations demonstrate that the athletics department failed to adequately monitor the football program's use of recruiting or scouting services, unquote.
Oregon has been cooperative throughout, and unlike USC and Ohio State and the others, which, if you try to block or obscure, that's what's going to come back to bite you. So they've been cooperative, that's good. In fact, Oregon actually has a financial information page on GoDucks.com, which shows that they're moving towards having better transparency, which is good. If sunlight is the best disinfectant, then they are by no means a USC or Ohio State when it comes to violations. So calm down, people. Remember to breathe. It will all be okay. That failure to properly monitor and this whole thing is largely the result, I think, at least, of changeover. I mean, just look at the timeline and it makes sense. This all starts when you look at things chronologically. The issue is from around 2008, 2009 through 2011. That's the era when Bill Moose left and Mike Bellotti went from head coach to being a first-time athletic director, and alongside first-time head coach Chip Kelly. Then Bellotti resigned and Pat Kilkenny stepped in to again be a first-time athletic director. When Kilkenny stepped aside, then came interim athletic director Lorraine Davis. Now, Lorraine is awesome and one of the most passionate fans of sports in general that I've ever met, and a long-time administrator at the University of Oregon, but it was her first time in a role as an athletic director. Then finally Rob Mullins came in, who was hired to take over the athletic director spot. That's a lot of first-time people in important positions and a lot of changeover within a short time frame. And with that context, it is understandable that there might be some mistakes that could be made. I don't believe as of yet, based on what has been released, that there was willful intent to violate rules. And I think that'll go a long way with the NCAA in their final findings and what they rule. First-time people in new positions, not necessarily knowing all the rules, mistakes might happen. Media may blow this up out of proportion or speculate on bigger meanings of it all, but these are early drafts. No final decisions have been made. It's still ongoing, so relax. Down the line, we'll see what the findings are. Rob Mullins actually released a letter that coincides with the document release to remind everyone that these are drafts. It's not the final versions. Stay calm. This week, I also found out about a fundraising campaign taking place that Duck fans really need to support. Either donate if you can, or simply spread the word about it. There's a former runner from the 1970s named Kim Spur. She ran for the Oregon Ducks from 75 through 77, and she is working on a book and a documentary that focuses on the history of women's track and field at the University of Oregon. She needs your help. Please go to the Kickstarter page. The address is shown below. and repost this on social media sites. And if you can donate to help the project come to fruition, that is awesome. Please do so. It's history, it's the University of Oregon, so of course Fish Duck would be completely behind this. As for current Oregon sports, baseball is off to a tremendous start. They won 3 out of 4 in Hawaii, and they beat number 17 Vanderbilt on Saturday. They're going to play a couple more games in Tennessee before they finally come home for their first home game at PK Park on Tuesday, February 28th. Basketball season is wrapping up. The Civil War game is Sunday, followed by games against Colorado and Utah for the men's and women's teams. Injuries have unfortunately really derailed the women's team this year, but the men's team, they still have a shot at the NCAA tournament. They've got to win these last 3 games and make some noise in the Pac-12 tournament to have a shot. Otherwise, it's NIT bound. Lacrosse season is underway. They completed a road trip out east with a 1-2 record, their victory coming over LaSalle. Their first home match is today, Sunday, versus Cal. Oregon men's tennis team has started off rolling. They started the season 8-0, but unfortunately they suffered their first loss on Friday to Washington. That's okay. These Ducks have some quality players, and they should definitely be making some noise this year in the conference. And of course, it's track season right now. The MPSF Championships wrapped up yesterday in Washington. The Oregon women's team remain ranked number 1 in the country and the obvious choice to repeat as national champions. Not just national champions, three-peat as national champions. They're not there yet. The indoor championships take place March 9th and March 10th, but things are looking very good for the Ducks to be defending national champs once more. The men's team is ranked 19th in the country right now, and they could contend as well, but it's going to take a superb all-around team effort to take the title this year. As for fishduck.com, we are working on a major upgrade to the website. We will be unveiling the new and improved fishduck.com on Saturday, March 3rd. So look for an announcement about it up on the front page shortly. Last Monday, we started off the week with a great article from Brian Libby talking about how DeAnthony Thomas's 91-yard touchdown in the Rose Bowl was transcendent, one of the iconic plays in Oregon football history. Tuesday, Jared Young took a detailed look at the women's track team, who are, as I said before, on the verge of three-peating as national champions. Tuesdays are also video days on fishduck.com, and Charles returned with another Fish Duck Minute, this time focusing on the beguiling Brian Bennett and his mastery of the zone read. Wednesdays are recruiting days at Oregon, and Mark Flores focused on recruits that are high on Oregon's list in both football and basketball this year. Thursday was a busy day for fishduck.com. I had the newest Fish Duck one-on-one video, this time sitting down with fellow Fish Duck contributor Jared Young to discuss all the spring sports. The same day, Jared Sawyer also had a new video out, a making of behind-the-scenes video about the O-Time music video that many of you watching this probably appeared in last year. And Thursday as well, we had an article from guest contributor Chris Carbonare, who continued his ongoing series analyzing the recruiting from this past year in the Pac-12, this time taking a look at teams number 9 through 7. On Friday, Josh White wrote a very nice piece taking a closer look at the seniors on this year's Oregon Ducks football team. Saturday is our comedy day on the site, and Kim Hastings delivered once again with a list of possibilities of things to give up for Lent, or Lent. And today, Sunday, do not miss Steve Mayer's article focusing on the public records document dump that took place on Friday and the greater context of what that really means with everyone's overreactions to it. For next week, we'll have a new Fish Duck video out on Tuesday. Thursday, I'll have a new one-on-one video with a former Oregon Ducks athlete that many of you may remember. Monday, I'm going to have a new article out, actually 2 articles. One will be an interview with an actual Pac-12 official. The other will be highlighting some of the worst official calls in the history of the Oregon Ducks. And now, my random tweet of the week.
Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
Every week I give a music recommendation. I work in the music industry here in Los Angeles. I hear a lot of music that you might have missed. So let me tell you this week about Trampled by Turtles. Bluegrass music in recent years has gone through a bit of a renaissance. It's been reinvigorated by Gillian Welch and Old Crow Medicine Show, and even some of the Americana artists that have emerged, like Mumford & Sons and Avett Brothers, causing bluegrass and Americana music to cross over from its Americana country roots into the mainstream, thanks in large part to the overwhelming success of the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack. This new contemporary bluegrass approach has served quite a few groups well, but there's one in particular I like out of Minnesota that go by the name Trampled by Turtles. They started in 2004. They bridged the gap between the traditions of bluegrass music and their own personal backgrounds in rock music. 2 more albums followed in 2005, 2007, but with their 4th album, Duluth, they really broke the barrier into the mainstream, receiving high acclaim and reaching number 8 on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. In 2010, their 5th album, Palomino, was released, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Bluegrass charts and remained there for over a year on that chart. They made their rounds on the festival circuit and have managed to be widely accepted by the rock crowd for their contemporary roots approach. Here's a song from the Palomino album. This is called Victory.
To the ground. It'll pass just like everything else. You won't let it get you big the next time around. It's a hard-earned victory. The life that came from you to me could never be wrong. Grown from a moment in a million miles, airlight and stardust, then it slowly dies. Borrowed from nothing, come back half alive, and the stars they whisper blessings, babe, as you walk by.
So that's it for me this week. Just remember to relax, people, with all of this violation talk. The docs that came out on Friday were early drafts. Let's keep that in mind. It's still a long ways to go. It's been a great week in duck sports. It'll be a great week for fishduck.com, so be sure to check back daily and experience all of it. So until next time, I'm Kurt saying go fish, get hooked, go ducks.